Did you miss me? Because I certainly didn't miss playoff hockey. Alright, welcome back everyone to the channel for some proper content for the first time in 10 months. Which, saying that out loud is quite spectacular given that I did this every single day for about half a year. But I took a long hiatus and we're back for playoff hockey. I'm extremely excited to be back properly. And I am extremely not excited to watch the Leafs lose in the first round again. That is a joke, Leafs fans. We have to be confident in our team this year. But without further ado, let's get into it. How can the Leafs possibly beat the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions? And I'll tell you, they're right here. See, look at that. So pretty. Anyway, with the Leafs, there's three things that I really want to focus on in terms of how they can stand up and even potentially beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I am not very confident in this team this year. I think that, yes, they are better, and they've consistently gotten better, but this is the toughest team the Leafs have played in the first round since 2019, and we have seen last year with the collapse against Montreal, we saw with the terrible series they put up against Columbus in 2020, that this is starting to become part of a habit, and I'm extremely nervous. I have some level of optimism. I think if they prove me wrong, that'll be fantastic. Obviously, I'm a Leafs fan. I want them to win. But I'm still extremely cautiously optimistic because I think this team will fail this year if I was looking at it objectively. And the reasons for that is, number one, Jack Campbell. Now, Jack Campbell has the potential to be one of the best goalies in the NHL. We saw it this year. Earlier this year, it was October Campbell, or November, I can't remember exactly what month it was, but early on the season, he was the best goalie in the NHL, or one of the best goalies in the NHL, made an all-star game, was really struggling, and then got hurt. And I think that his form is something that's extremely important. He was better than Carey Price in the playoffs last season. We need that type of form to return if the Leafs are even going to have a chance in this series, because I think what we've seen with Källgren is not a playoff level goalie. He's not a starter level goalie, and you can't rely on someone like Källgren. And Mrazek, again, I know some Leafs fans want to throw him into a cannon and blast him into outer space, but with Campbell, it's between the ears, and I think that if he struggles this playoffs, the Leafs don't have a chance. I think if Campbell is average to above average, they have a mild chance, and if we get the superstar Campbell that we got at the start of the season, Leafs have a very good chance, but that is a huge if, as Jack Campbell is one of the streakiest goalies in the NHL. Now, the second big thing I want to put up there is mild physicality, and what I mean by this is physicality to the point where you're laying hits, you're being physical, you're being nippy, but you're not causing penalties, you're not giving the other team power plays unnecessarily, and also you're not body checking for the sake of body checking that takes you out of a play. One thing that I've noticed with the Leafs in the last couple playoff series, and I've noticed this from watching film in preparation for this video, is that someone like a Jake Muzzin, or in the past a Travis Dermott, or someone like that will attempt to will body check someone, will create a hit, but in doing so take themselves out of a defensive play. And I think that's the biggest problem with the Leafs in terms of ramping up their physicality for the playoffs. It's not that they're not physical. They hit with the best of them. Their hit numbers were extremely comparable to Montreal and Columbus. They were slightly behind Boston in 2019. And they're able to hit with these really good teams. But the way that they hit is the problem. They constantly take themselves out of plays. They will go for a hit rather than stay in position. When in playoff hockey, yes, you can get away with a lot more. You can hit more. But also your number one priority as a defenseman or as a forward is to be defensively responsible or try and create opportunities. And you can't do that if you go for a hit and take yourself out of the play. And the third and final thing is star power. And this is a direct reference to last season's playoffs when we saw the top line barely create any points over a 7-game series. And I think that this is really where the Leafs live and die, is in their high-end talent. They have some of the most impressive talent I've ever seen on any NHL team ever. And I don't say that lightly. Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, John Tavares, William Nylander, players like this are once-in-a-generation style players. This core is some of the most talented forwards we've seen in the NHL. The issue is they haven't been consistent enough, or at least in the playoffs, consistent enough to win a series, and they haven't been able to perform at regular season expectations in the playoffs. And I think that if the Leafs as a team live and die by their production, and I think that if they fail to produce, similar to like everyone opposed to William Nylander and John Tavares for obvious reasons last year, then the Leafs are in for a rude awakening and they will not have a shot. When it comes to Tampa, I think that Tampa is the better team when I look at film and when I look at just the star power that they have. Andrei Vasilevsky, I know that he struggled recently, but I do not put any credence to that. Andrei Vasilevsky is one of the best goalies in the NHL, and he likely always will be so long as he's playing. And that is an automatic edge for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Goaltending is so important in playoff hockey, but so they automatically have the better team. However, they have been known to struggle with injuries in the past, and that is something where it can make or break a season. Someone like Steven Stamkos and Nikita Kucherov are very prone to injury. As much as it sucks, I'm a huge Stamkos fan, but it really does suck if your season gets derailed because of an injury to a major star. And I think that if they avoid injuries, they will be at a huge advantage. They will have that advantage over the Leafs in terms of team capacity, and I think that's a huge importance for them in this series. The other big thing is special teams. Now, the Leafs have a huge reliance on playoff goals, especially from William Nylander. I think he scored 13 this season. The Lightning have one of the best penalty kills in the league, and the Leafs' penalty kill has been very up and down all season. So I think that that with playoff hockey and how important special teams are, the Leafs' power play needs to be stronger than the Tampa Bay penalty kill for the Leafs to succeed. And that is going to be one of the defining battles of the season, is can the Leafs take their opportunities on the power play to create goals, despite Tampa having a supremely good special teams, or extreme special teams in general, but specifically on that penalty kill. And can the Leafs get the goals that they need on the power play to override that? And finally, I think for the Tampa Bay Lightning, the biggest weakness I see with the Leafs is their ability. They overextend in the offensive zone. And I think that we've seen this in the Boston series in the past. We've seen this at Columbus. We saw this with Montreal in overtime last season. And a bunch in the regular season is that when they're on offense, they will control the zone. They do all these great things. But sometimes they overcommit and they get caught. And I remember watching an Ottawa game, Leafs-Ottawa, a couple weeks back, where TJ Brody went in for a play, missed the puck, and it became a 2-on-0 where the Senators scored. And their ability to overcommit in the offensive zone is a huge concern for me, because teams like Boston and Tampa are extremely good at taking their opportunities. They don't create a lot of them, but when they do, they finish them. Tampa creates more than Boston, let me be clear. But when you have such a clinical team, your counterattacking is so important. I think that the Leafs need to avoid overextending, and if they do, I think that that's the area of the ice that Tampa is going to exploit the most in terms of getting to creating goals on the counter and creating goals on the rush, where the Leafs are known to be a little bit more weak in their rush defense. But let me know what you think. Are you excited for tonight's game? It starts in about 2.5 hours. I am starting to get nervous. Luckily, I have school to distract me from my stress, but this is certainly going to be a fun series. Win, lose, or draw, or win or lose. I think that the Leafs will learn from this, will grow from this, and I think that this is a very vital series for the growth of these players. And it should be an extremely entertaining series, regardless of what you think of these two teams. I think that this will be an extremely fun offensive playoff series, and I cannot wait. Thank you, guys. We are back. I'm going to try and upload more. Thank you so much for watching. Please click like if you like this. Please subscribe, because I am trying to... I'm over 50 subscribers. I don't know how I still have so many subs. I haven't uploaded in like a year. But let's try and get to 100 subscribers. I don't know, in the future. That's another goal for me. So let's go towards it. Thank you guys, and enjoy the game tonight.